Bottom half, chapter 12, study guide. 8 and 9 are similar. I'm going to go ahead and do 9. It says, what is the profit or loss from this sale? So Kylie and Mikkel paid $19.30.95 for 80 shares of this stock. They sold the stock for $28.95 per share and paid a sales commission of $39.95. So to find the cost or the amount of the sale, we would go the number of shares times the amount per share. So it would be 80 shares times they sold them for $28.95. This is what they're getting from it. But then they have to pay a commission. So they're going to subtract from that the commission amount of $39.95. And that means that they're going to be left with, looks like $2,276.05 from the proceeds of the sale. But the question is, what is the profit or loss? So to find the profit or loss, we take the net sale amount and then we subtract from that the amount of the original investment, which was $19.30.95. So we got this when we sold it. We had originally paid this amount. So the difference is how much we either made or lost. Look like it's a profit, and it looks like it is a profit of $345.10. All right. Next one up, number 10. 10, he bought 100 shares of stock for $32 each. The company paid dividends of 74 cents each. What is the annual yield? So remember, the yield is simply the amount that you're paid, or the interest, or the dividend, or the amount of the return divided by what you paid for the purchase. So here it looks like the interest is 74 cents. The amount that we paid was $32. So when we divide that out, we get 2.31% is the yield. Up here, I do need to actually write profit, because there's a big difference between a $345 and 10-cent profit and a loss. You have to let me know if it's a profit or not. If it was a loss, it'd be a negative number. If it's a profit, it's a positive. So let's take a look at number 11 now. 11 is saying that we invested $30,000 in this mutual fund. The current value is $16.18 each. The fund is front loaded with a load rate of 4.25%. How many shares were purchased? So remember, to find how many shares were purchased, you take the investment, you subtract the load fee, and then you divide that by the cost per share. So in this case, the investment was $30,000. The load fee, well, we have to find the load fee. So the load fee is, in this case, 4.25% times the investment amount, which is $30,000. So the load fee is $1,275. So now we can put that into the formula here, $1,275. We divide it by the cost per share. The cost per share here is $16.18. And that leaves us with 1,775 shares. All right, now what we've got is number 12. Number 12 says they bought this Franklin Templeton stock or mutual fund. It was 1270 and backloaded with a load rate of 4.25%. When they sold their fund shares, the net value or the current price was 1330. How much was the profit or loss? So first of all, we need to know how many of these did they buy. So we've got to find the investment amount was $23,495. There was no preload. It's a backloaded fund. So we subtract 0 because they paid nothing up front. The purchase price was $12.70. So that looks like they purchased 1,850 of these. So now we have to figure out what the load fee is on the sale. So the load fee is the number of shares times the cost of each share when you're selling it. So we bought 1,850 of them, so we're selling 1,850, and we're multiplying that by the sale amount, which was 1,330. We take that and we multiply it times the load rate, which is 4.25% or 0.0425, and that means that the load cost is $1,045.71. So to find the net selling price, remember that's going to be the number of shares, which is 1850. So it's 1850 times the amount of each share, which is 1330. We're going to subtract from that the load fee, which is $1,045.71, and that's going to leave us with $23,559.29. Now, that's the amount that we walk away with, but how much money did we originally invest? It looks like we originally invested $23,495. So we subtract $23,495 from the amount that we have at the end to see if we made a profit or a loss, and it's $64.29, and that's a profit because it's a positive number. So we made a profit of $64.29. Last but not least, we have number 13. I'll do up here at the top. We purchased a $1,500 bond at 87.5. The bond's interest is 5.5%. What is the yield? So to find the yield, we need to know the amount of the interest, and we need to know the amount that we invested. So to find the amount that we invested, it would be the 87.5% given to me right there times the face value, which is $1,500. So the amount of the investment would be you'd pay $1,312.50 for the bond. Now we need to know what is the interest that the bond is giving us. Well, the bond is making 5.5%. 5.5% times the face value of the bond, which is $1,500, which gives me $82.50. So if I take $82.50 and I divide it by the amount that I paid for the bond, which is $1312.50, that leaves me with 0.0629 or 6.29% as a yield.